And hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan. Once again, bringing you my thoughts and movie review for the brand new Jon M. Chu film, Wicked. That's right, Wicked is finally here. Happy Wicked weekend. Finally got to see this twice. My most anticipated film of this year. Theoretically, this is supposed to be part 2, but they pushed it back. So now here we are. So Wicked Part 2 will be released next year of November of 2025. So let's talk about Wicked. So if you've never seen the Broadway play, the Wicked story is literally tells the story of Elphaba and Glinda and how their friendship goes from being best friends to having them both go separate paths to become who they are in the Wizard of Oz, world. Now, there's very different versions of the Wizard of Oz movies. Obviously, the original Wizard of Oz, 1933. Wizard of Oz is a cult classic. Everybody loves that movie. Everybody knows that movie. We all know who the Wicked Witch is. But we never really understood who the Wicked Witch was until we meet Elphaba, played by Cynthia Erivo. And then we have Glinda, who is played by Ariana Grande. You also got Jeff Goldblum in here, who has the Wizard. Michelle Yeoh as well. And Jonathan Bailey as well in this movie. And I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, this movie is fantastic. This movie had everything I was waiting for to see in a live-action adaptation of this Broadway thing. Because, Broadway is one thing. Bringing something to life on Broadway is one thing. But bringing it to the big screen, that adaptation could be really tricky. You got to make sure your main stars have chemistry. And boy, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande have great chemistry. Not only their singing matches beautifully with each other, but just the way that they act in this film was incredible. Cynthia Erivo was extraordinary, and Ariana Grande literally used herself and then dialed it up to 11 and broke the dial. She was just phenomenal in here, and I loved every moment of it, especially seeing the two of them butt heads in the beginning because they were schoolmates. They butt heads in the beginning, then they became friends. Kind of like how when you go to high school, you meet that one pretty cheerleader or whoever main popular girl, but yet you think she's kind of wicked in the outside, but in the inside she's got a heart of gold. That's Glinda. That's who Glinda is. And then you have Elphaba, who's the awkward shy girl in school who's kind of sticks out because she's different or whatever. In this movie, in this case, she's green. Nobody understands why she's green. And nobody likes her. She's, the outcast. She's the one that everybody thinks is the weirdo. But once she starts butting heads with, Glinda, they go head to head, for obvious reasons. And then their friendship blossoms from there, and then it goes from there. And I gotta say, for what they did, it was beautiful. I thought just showing their friendship, how they went from frenemies to best friends into who they become eventually for part 2. We'll talk about that, once part 2 comes out. Obviously, the ending of this movie was phenomenal. Gave me goosebumps when I saw it twice. Literally cried. So there's that. Jeff Goldblum was fantastic as the Wizard. He's great. Who doesn't love Jeff? He's amazing. The guy who plays the Prince, Jonathan Bailey, I believe his name is. He was great as well. There's also an actress in here that I can't remember her name. She's actually in a wheelchair, and they made her character. I'm not 100% sure she's a new character they wrote for the story, or she's actually part of the show, because I don't remember the Broadway play that much because I only saw it once when I was a kid. So there's that. She was phenomenal. She plays Elphaba's sister that she has to look after. She's very overprotective of her because she goes to school, and then the school sees Elphaba do her thing. And then they're like, why don't you join us as well and be a part of the school? Because apparently they go to this school called Shiz. And it's like a magic school. Glinda's supposed to be the most popular, beautiful girl. And everybody wants to worship her, be with her, be her best friend. All the boys have a crush on her. All the girls want to just be like Glinda. And then when she meets Elphaba, they butt heads. And then, of course, they become friends. And then we meet them down the road. And then, of course, we all know the rest of the story of how they go in to meet the Wizard, and we all know his story. So there's that. We got Michelle Yeoh in here as well. She's fantastic. She plays like the elder witch who teaches the classes. She teaches Elphaba how to control her powers because she has like a control problem. So that stuff worked. So everything in this movie really worked. The cinematography as well. The music was phenomenal. I loved every moment of the music in here as well. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, know how to sing very well. So there's that. So there's all the good stuff about the film. There's only like three negatives, but the third one's kind of a small one. The first two negatives about this film that I didn't like was the fact that there's a side thing that goes about animals, about them losing the ability to speak, because us animals can talk, but for some reason they started losing their ability to speak normal talk. And so there was that side piece. They could have either cut that part out and the movie would have been fine, or added more to that story, because it was fascinating. I felt like it could have been there or not being there at the same time. So I thought that was interesting. Also, I kind of wish, as much as we know the character Oz, we know who he is, we know his backstory, we know he's the guy behind the curtain. I kind of wanted to see more from him, because Jeff Goldblum playing him was phenomenal, and I wanted to see more. Obviously, we're going to see more in part 2, but I'm talking about for here, for the first film. I just wanted to see more. And of course, my small little, why kind of problem about this, I have to wait a whole other year for part 2. Are you kidding me? I wish we could have got both movies this year, but oh well, we have to wait. Perfection could happen in the next one, because this movie is perfection in my opinion, and I think this is my number 1 movie of the year. I don't see anything else beating it. I don't see anything else beating it. I like this more than Doom. I like this more than Deadpool and Wolverine, Joker. This movie is number 1 to me. This movie had everything I wanted, and this was my most anticipated film of the year, and it did not disappoint me. And if you're a musical fan, go check it out. But if you're not a musical fan and it's not your cup of tea, I highly recommend checking it out anyway, because it just shows a good story about friendship and what happens to friendships when they have different paths, and that could destroy friendships. It's just a beautiful story altogether. Regardless if you don't like musicals, I know musicals are not for everybody, but I think it had a beautiful message in here as well, and I really loved every moment of it. And it was just, and the third act of this movie, the cinematography in the third act was just goosebumps, and I loved every single moment of it. I love this movie, and if the second part is any as good as the first part, it doesn't have to be, but it was just as good. This might end up being my favorite movie, period, of all time, or up there with the best of them. I loved every moment of this movie, guys, and I highly recommend checking it out for yourselves if you can, because it's going to be sold out everywhere this whole week. Probably, it might even beat out Moana next week, because, yeah, Gladiator was great, but Wicked is a whole nother universe. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought. Are you guys looking forward to seeing Wicked? Not looking forward to it? Not a big musical fan? Never saw the Broadway? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Also, that's another thing I forgot to mention. I don't think you have to watch the Broadway to understand this movie, because this movie is more about friendship and heartache in here. So you have that going for you. So if you've never seen the Broadway, but you know the kind of the lore of The Wizard of Oz, you should be fine. So just go check it out and see for yourself. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Don't worry about it. Just don't ruin it for anybody else who wants to go see it. And yeah, so there you go. So leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and have a good day.